Hello, all of my crafty friends. I am so excited to see you all out here today, and welcome to our weekly Running with Scissors. We're going to have a ton of fun with paper and ink, and I am super excited about today's project. So as you know, all month we've been working with background stamps. I say all month as if it's been like going on forever. Of course, this is only our second week of the month, although it feels like the 5th or 6th or 7th or something. I don't know. Anyway, I can't believe it's July, right? So we are working with background stamps this month. I'm so excited about today's project. You are going to love it. If you have had these in your stash for a while, these are the Mica Pigments. These happen to be from Creative Expressions, but there's Perfect Pearls and all sorts of other Mica Pigments out there. If you've had them in your stash, they've kind of been around for a long time, pull them out because we're going to use them today. And I have to admit, this is my first time using Perfect Pearls or a Mica Pigment, and I'm in love. So we are going to have a great time with them today. And I am so glad to see the crew out there. Hello to everybody. If you are new to my channel, please do pop in and say hello. Don't be a lurker. Tell us where you're from. And we always talk about the weather. So whatever your weather is in your neck of the woods today, I'd love to know. So we've got Sue out there who has got some thunderstorm activity. So be safe, please. And Cicci is out there. We've got Paula, Nancy, Ann, Becca. The gang is all here and we're gonna have fun. So, hey, let's not dawdle. Let's get into some crafting. So we'll do a couple quick announcements and some shares that I had shared out this week on social media, and we'll get into the craft. So while we're getting started here, as we go along, if you're loving today's content, don't forget to click the thumbs up. That lets YouTube know and that you are loving this content. And of course, you can always throw some hearts and thumbs up and things if you are out on Facebook. And of course, share this out, especially while we're live. Get people to join us kind of impromptu, or they can catch the replay later. So share it out to your page, your personal page. Maybe you have some crafty friends. Share it out to groups in Facebook land and anywhere else that you like. Just get all the crafty community involved and over here sharing some love of paper and ink together. All right, so those two things, always a good thing. Let's take a look at some quick announcements. So as you know, we're doing cool techniques with background stamps this month. Next month, we're going to continue on with some technique focus, and we're going to do cool techniques with embossing folders. Now, I've always been a fan of embossing folders, and I love that they're kind of making a comeback. Of course, they never really left, but new technology is allowing us to get these embossing folders that give us really deep three-dimensional impressions, and that changes the game with embossing folders. So we're going to go and have fun with embossing folders. A lot of coloring techniques, different things that you can do to really make those embossing images pop, right? So that will be next month, which means you don't need to buy anything new. Go ahead and pull out any embossing folders that you already have, and you'll be able to join along with me in all of this adventure. So it's going to be really, really awesome. I've got tons of ideas that I'll be working on this weekend to get all of those projects ready. So I think it was last week, Nancy asked if we would be doing a Running with Scissors the last week in July, because there are 5 Thursdays, and I wasn't sure at the time, but the answer is no. I'm going to take that week off and do some well-deserved rest and recuperation. So we will go 4 weeks this month. We'll take off the 5th Thursday, and then we'll reconvene again the 1st Thursday of August with our embossing folders. So there we go. That is our schedule for the next few weeks. Okay, so let's see. What else did I want to say? Oh, of course, affiliate links are down in the description below. If you're on Facebook or if you're in the chat, I always put today's supplies at the top of the chat. So you can click on that. It will take you over to Linkdeli with all of my affiliate linked supplies. When you click on those links and do some shopping, I might receive a small commission at no additional cost to you. And this is just always a great way to show support to all of your crafty inspiration out here as we do live streams and blogging and all that great stuff for you. All right, so thank you in advance for your support for using my affiliate links from today's projects. Oh, and I should say, just because you click on a specific link for a specific product, like say you click on the link for this Perfect Pearls, doesn't mean that you have to buy it. Basically what happens is you get a cookie in your computer and it says, hey, you're shopping with Nicole right now. And anything that you happen to purchase from that store, I will get a commission for that. So thank you in advance and happy shopping. Okay, so last announcement coming soon is the Bloom crafting community. I did talk with a small group of people this week, and I am so encouraged because I have people that are really excited about it, and I'm working with a small group to get some things ready for you. If you want to know more about the Bloom community, please do subscribe to my newsletter to make sure that you're getting updates. Just go to pmretreat.com/subscribe and pop in your email address, and that will ensure that you're getting updates about the Bloom community as I have more information. And I will start sending out information to you next week about how you can get on the wait list to join our beautiful community. I'm so excited about this. I am just thrilled to death with the response that I've received so far, and I can't wait to have all sorts of folks collaborating and learning and growing together in this amazing community. All right, so let's see. Good comments going on, replays, etc. Excellent. Okay, so that is it for comments. Let's go on to cards to share. I feel like this should be like a big cards to share. Okay, so each week I ask you to, if you are inspired by our project this week and you create something similar that you're going to share on social media, tag me at Pixel Mavens Retreat, and I will find your project and share it here live, and we will have a fun time looking at what it is that you're creating. Okay, so I had 2 people share with me this week, so let's take a look at those projects. First of all is the lovely Cicci, and she is on with us today. So hello to you, Cicci. So glad you're with us. Beautiful, beautiful project that Cicci created. This was from last month's, inspired by last month's live. We did some ink blending on the last week, and she really loved it. She says the card lived its own life and ended up like that, which is exactly what inspiration is. Exactly, Cicci. So you had an idea and then you let it fly. Haha, no pun intended with the butterfly. But it worked out gorgeous. I think it's absolutely stunning. So beautiful work. Thank you for sharing. All right, and then our second one is Ann Taylor. She also was inspired by some ink blending. So, and then she did some of the technique that we did last week with the double embossing. So not only does she have this beautiful ink blend with the pinstripe background here, which is absolutely perfect, completely on point there. I love your stamping job there, and you did a great job. And then she did the ink blending, and then she did the clear emboss on top. So we've got a close up here, and you can see, look at all that, especially up here, you can really see all that beautiful texture. And when you see this live and in person, having that glossy layer on top is just unbelievably gorgeous. So beautiful, beautiful work. Thank you for sharing. All right, so as usual, when we've got people that have shared, I will go ahead and send you one of the cards that I've been making over the last few weeks. So ladies, you are in the hat for getting a card. And I think normally what happens is I end up having enough cards because we usually get, 1 or 2 a week, and I create a card, but I already have a card created for today. So I kind of split them up, and I have other cards to send to. So I kind of send cards to everybody. Shh, don't tell. Anyway. There we go. Thank you for sharing. So if you are inspired by today's project or any of the previous projects in any of my live streams, do share them out on social media and tag me at Pixel Mavens Retreat, and you could be featured here too. All right. Enough talk, blah, blah, blah. Let's move on to the task at hand. So here is our project for today. And I love this card. I love this card more than I thought I was going to love this card. So I've had this stamp for a little bit. I got one of those Picket Fence grab bags, and I had no idea what I was going to get in it. And so I got this stamp. It's called Kylee Girl, and it came with the matching die, which is super nice. I think we're using the die next week, but not today. All right, so beautiful stamp, very introspective, really gorgeous line art, right? But I just wasn't sure because I don't normally do like people and faces and stuff, but I thought I want to give this a try. So I also had recently got the, this is the Romantic Script by My Favorite Things, because I wanted a script stamp. This always works really well for mixed media and just some really cool backgrounds. So I knew we would be using this. And then I got this girl and I thought, oh, what could I do? And this just came together. So on top of it, I thought I would add in a fun sentiment. And this is from It's Peopley Out There. And I add in there, be you, the world can adjust. And I think it's just an absolutely gorgeous, uplifting, amazing card. All right, so that's what we're going to make today. Okay. So let's see. Let's get to the hands view. Okay, here we go. I have so much stuff out on my desktop already. Okay, so we're going to use the corner chomper today. If you don't have a corner chomper, I think this is the best corner maker I've ever had. I've had a lot of corner punches before, most of which I've gotten rid of, but this one I really like. So this is the Cropadile corner chomper. It does 3/8 inch corners and 1/8 inch corners. So I'll show you how to use that later. It's also a good defensive tool if you need to bop someone on the head. Don't do that. I don't condone violence. Okay. So I also have, we're going to use Versamark and VersaFine Clair. So you'll be seeing VersaFine Clair a lot this month. We'll be using it again next week too. So this happens to be the Twilight color. So VersaFine Clair comes in 24 different colors, if you didn't know. And I love the Twilight color. The blue is just stunning. All right. And then I've got 3 Perfect Pearls colors. Not Perfect Pearls. I'm going to keep calling them Perfect Pearls. I didn't mean to. Cosmic Shimmer. And unfortunately, the names are on the bottom. So this one is Patina. This one is Vintage Golden Green. And this one is Copper. All right. And yeah, they're going to make a mess. That's why I've got my microfiber cloth over here. I've got my everything to go. And I'm going to use my detail blending brushes from Alteneum. I'm not really sure if I'm ever going to use these for stencils. I've done a little bit of work with them, which is why they have color on them, but I don't think I'm going to use them so much with stencils. So I'm going to use them with my Perfect Pearls. And also recently I got a gem mix from Picket Fence. This is their Sands of Time gem mix, and it's been a while since I used gems. Rhinestones, if you will, but there's a beautiful mix in here, both gold and silver, and the gold is kind of like a rose gold color. It's really pretty, so we'll use some of those. All right, and that's what we're doing. But the bulk of the project is actually creating this background, which is so amazing. And you're going to be like, it's that easy, like, oh my god. Okay, so let's go. I've got my large MISTI here because I'm using a background stamp, right? So background stamps always kind of need a bigger space. And when you're using a foam background stamp, of course, you're going to take out your layers in your MISTI here because you need to be working right from the plastic. All right. And I could cut a piece that is the size of the background, or I can just do, you know, a smaller piece, which is fine. Because I'm actually going to cut this even smaller. So this is good. This we can work from, and I can butt it right in the corner. It doesn't matter if I get a little line or anything because I'm not going to use the whole thing. I'm going to cut out a little bit. All right. So I'm just going to ink this up with some Versamark. Now, originally, Perfect Pearls, the Ranger Perfect Pearls, came with a medium that you were supposed to stamp with. And I don't have that. I did some research on it, and it seems that Versamark is sticky enough to work. And it is, because I did the sample project. But apparently this stamp pad that you're supposed to use with Perfect Pearls is just a little more sticky. So, you know. Anyway, yes, Paula, when you take out the insides from your MISTI and then you try to use the magnet, it is definitely super snappy. And I love that you put the 2 little alligators on there. It's so true. Oh my gosh. Watch your fingers, right? All right. So I'm only going to get one shot at this, but that's fine. And I've got, you can't see it at all, but there are words on there, I promise you. Just do a quick wipe off. And I will put my insides back in. There. All right. And that is all we need for our stamp. Oh, so I do put this in a sleeve, but here's a great idea for you. So if you want to store this, just keep the plastic on your packaging and just stick it right on there. And then I put it into a sleeve just to keep everything together. But see, look, it sticks, which is really great. And super economical. Okay, perfect pearls. So I have a palette. And I want to zoom in a little bit. And we're going to do our little split view since everyone's loved that so much. So on the right-hand side, I've got my side view here. And on the left, we've got the top view. All right. And then I've got my palette here. So I've got my pearls. And the reason I'm using the palette is because these are going to make a mess. Actually, you can really kind of just work from the lid in many instances because you don't need a lot. So let's give that a try. But at least I kind of have things contained a little bit. All right. So there we go. And I'm going to start off with the large one here. So these three colors I picked because I wanted to do something kind of like a copper patina. And this is how the magic happens. So I'm going to start with the copper. All right. So I've got that all nice and inked up on my brush here. And now I'm just going to gently buff it in. Oh, do you see that magic happening? It's like, do you remember when you were little? When I was little, I remember getting these activity books that you would get a little pen with. And when you rubbed the pen over certain places, like the mystery words would show up. It's totally what this reminds me of. Oh, mystery words. Look at how gorgeous that is. Look at that. That's amazing, right? Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. So I'm not going to dust off any of the color. I'm just going to keep building color around it. All right. And then I'll just take a different brush here. So we're talking like what a patina would look like. It wouldn't look just all coppery, right? You're going to have some areas where the green is going to kind of come into play. I guess I do kind of need to dip into. All right, so we want to get this kind of like multi-tonal, right? Ooh, multi-tonal, that's a big word. And then what's happening here is like, I don't mind that the mica is like sticking to the white paper. When I brush it off, some of it's going to go and some of it's going to stay. So it's going to leave a little bit of a color behind, but that's okay. Like, I think it just kind of helps bring the whole project together a little more. All right. And then I've got this little tiny one here. And so I will go into this aqua color. So this is a patina blue, they call it. And I'm just letting the colors blend together, just like they would if a real piece of copper was starting to age in patina, right? So in some areas, it's going to look a little bit more blue. In some areas, the blue and the copper are going to mix. And every time you do this, it's going to be different. All right. So as I'm doing this, what I want to think about is like where the Kylee girl is going to be and if I've done enough of it, right? So it looks like I need to maybe do a little bit more. Let's take a look at the sample card again and see what happened there. Okay, so with the sample card, I did actually end up doing the whole piece. So I do want to make this a little bit more here, but you can see it's darker in the center. So that's where I focused most of my attention and then added more more color just on the edges here. I just basically kind of pushed it down to give myself enough to work with color-wise. So look at like how little I have used. And look at how much is in a pot of one of these. You will have them forever. All right, so if you want to take the time, I mean, if you want to come all the way out with it, you can, because you're going to get a couple little extra pieces when you cut it. And that should be pretty good. Just get a little bit more actual color on the paper here. So Sue asked if I've ever done this on black, and yes, this would be totally dramatic on black. But what I really like about doing it on white is the subtlety of it. I mean, it's obviously the complete opposite, but it looks so amazing. So now I'm actually pushing into the paper a little bit more because I do want some of that mica to stick to the paper, not just the words. All right, and that's what gave this that kind of floaty look behind the Kylee stamp. All right, so that's good. So now, first things first, we close these guys up. Oh my goodness. All right, so definitely be careful when you're working with these. This is about as bad as, if not worse, than working with glitter, right? So get these guys all closed up. And then I can move this. See, there's some on here. I kind of saved myself from having to clean up massively everywhere. So I'll move this all out of the way. All right. So the one thing I want to just dust this off, and this is like a big brush that I have. I don't think I have it on the list for today. I should add it in. And this is really great for like if you're doing stuff with graphite and you just, or colored pencil, and you just want a way to brush off the excess without using your hands, because you should never really use your hands. Using a brush, you can do it just more lightly, and then it won't smear with your hand, right? So I just want to get that all off there. All right, look at how gorgeous that is. So like technically this is like a romantic thing. So if you actually read the words, you'd be like, oh, okay. But the point in this is to not read the words, right? So here we are. And the one other thing I'm going to do with this is just take my distress sprayer with water in it and just spray it like once. And what that's going to do is activate the mica and then allow it to dry. Since I'm not doing anything to it and I just sprayed it a little bit, that's just enough to activate it and allow it to dry onto the paper. And then it will maintain this look and it won't really come up off of your fingers as much. Yeah, Sue, I got to put this out on the list because it looks fantastic. It's really, I think I got it from, honestly, I think I got it on Amazon. And then I just added some washi tape on here to make it look kind of cool. But yeah, it's a really nice brush for just dusting things. All right, so I let that dry for a second. Let me back out just a little bit here. I'm going to go cut this down. The finished length on this, so this is going to be 4.5 by 3. So I just need to cut out the center section. So let me do that. So there's our finished piece, and now I've got some little extra bits that I can use for some collage work and other projects and things like that. So these will really come in handy. All right. Where is, oh, there it is. Okay. So now we just need to get our sentiment on here and our image. See how quick this one will come together? Okay, so on the other one I put be you, the world can adjust. So you could definitely do that, but if you wanted to come up with a different sentiment here, you definitely could. Absolutely. But we'll do this one. Okay. So we're going to get this down in the bottom here. Actually, what I'm going to do, I want to get a better idea of where that's going to lay. So I am going to have to do just a little bit of masking, which is fine. I just want to make sure that that's going to cover it. And it is. All right, so we're using our VersaFine Clair in Twilight. This means that really you only have to stamp it once because VersaFine Clair is amazing. All right. I mean, that turns out perfect the first time. As long as your ink pad is nice and inked up, you're not going to have a problem with it. Okay. So I want to do just a little bit of masking. So I will definitely cover that bit. And we need to see where I keep running into these like little bits of stuff. Okay, there we go. And then we can just kind of pop her right on top. And then the words are going to show up like right in the middle of her. So it really kind of makes it into a cohesive look. Super easy. All right. So again, VersaFine Clair, no fuss, no muss. Look at how gorgeous that inks up. I mean, it's a perfect coat. This shade of blue is absolutely stunning. I don't want to... Okay, so let me tell you, this is one of those moments where I'm like, oh no, I don't know if this is going to work out right. That the precision press would probably be a great tool to have. Well, guess what, Becca? I am getting a precision press. It will be here this weekend. So I will tell you how much I enjoy using it or what frustrations I have with it. But see how like that, the cardstock was like kind of rolling up a little bit? See? I was afraid to stamp down on it because I didn't want it to slide and make a smeary mess. So I could have put another magnet over here in the corner, right? Or that's where the precision press actually works. So We Are Memory Keepers precision press, you would just stamp straight down. And I'm excited to give that a try. So it is on its way. I see a lot of advantages to using it. I don't know that it will, you know, take over for my MISTI because there's advantages to a MISTI too, right? But I think it's something that maybe is good to have in the toolkit. Guys, we're done with stamping. How easy is that? When you're using VersaFine Clair, oh my gosh, so easy. So easy. Okay. So now we can pop off our little mask here. And there you go. Okay. So we're going to chomp the corner on this, which is a really nice look. Like instead of just having square on square on square, you can chomp the corner, right? So all you do with the corner chomper, let me just show you what this says right here. It says open guides, empty waste bin frequently. Okay, so all you do is you open up these guides. This is like new. So you open the guides and you see how it just angles itself out there. So that's because what you want to do then is hold up the side you're going to use. So this is the 1/8 side, or you can do the 3/8 side. Let's do the 3/8 because that's going to get us a wider chomp. All right, so this is the 3/8 side, and I'm going to put it right here. And you see how those guides guide that cardstock right in there? And then it's going to chomp my corner. Come on, corner chomper. There we go. And if you didn't quite get it right, pop it back in there. Give it a second chance. There we go. That's it. All right. So now I have a nice little rounded, and then you just close it back up. A nice little rounded corner there. Beautiful stamping. Okay. Okay, so now I'm just putting this together. Quick, easy peasy, no fuss, no muss. You can spend as long as you want on your mica powder application. That makes this kind of a clean and simple card because there's not a whole lot else going on here, right? So I've got my card base. And I have a piece of navy blue cardstock that I'm going to put, it's going to come in like, not a 1/4 inch, but just a little more than that. All right, so maybe like 3/8, I guess, right? Yeah, so Becca, I got the press that comes with the extra plate. So I will have 2 plates. And then I also got the plate that you can use for doing repeat stamping, because I wanted to try that out. So if I end up not liking it, I know who I can send my plates to. All right, so there we go. And I'm eyeballing this, but I feel like I have a good grasp on my eye today. I could always pull out my T-square and make sure that that is nice and square on there. It doesn't matter if it's in place vertically. There's plenty of room on the top and the bottom. Okay. So then this, I'm going to go ahead and put on a piece of fun foam. Now you see, look, I cut the corner on here because the corner chomper here, I wanted to make sure that I had a good cut so that it didn't show through, right? So I'm going to pop this on like so. And then watch it peel off. I'm not quite sure why it's doing that. And get it in place. I'm going to actually put on a block for just a second. There we go. Super pretty, right? I can still kind of move it around a little bit because of the liquid glue. There we go. So I'm going to cover that for just a second and let that glue stick. Yes, it's actually navy blue, Sue, because I'm using the Twilight VersaFine, which is navy blue. So it's just a strip. It's a little wider, so that way there's plenty of room in here. And it's just, it's 3.5 inches by like 1 inch. All right. Okay, so we're going to let that sit for a second. And then we're going to put on some gems. Okay, so the gems, just like anything else, you want to make sure that you're not going to like spill them, right? Because that would be a catastrophe for sure. There's these super ridiculously tiny ones. Like I'm going to zoom in so you can see how small these guys are. So let's move her over just a little bit. So do you see that? I mean, look at how tiny these guys are, but they're such gorgeous colors. So I'm pulling out some of these kind of goldy yellow ones. I'm going to do a small one. I love these because they come in the 3 sizes, just like the Ulta new ones do. I'm not quite as large in the end, but 3 sizes nonetheless. So there's a medium. And if I can get it to turn over to see what color it is. Yes. There's a large. All right, so those are the 3 sizes. I mean, like, ridiculous tiny. This one here is so small. So gorgeous, though. Absolutely gorgeous. All right. All right, so everyone's going to head over to Sue's house to eat whatever she's having for dinner, even though it's low carb. That is okay. All right, and I'm going to add these guys in. So with the gems, you really need like tiny bits of glue, especially with the tiniest of them. So I like using the precision glue here from Imagine Crafts. I find that the opening stays just fine for me. And since I already have an idea of where they look good to begin with, I will put them on here. So the gems are from Picket Fence Studios. And this is the Sands of Time. I got another set too. They've got black and silver in them. All right, so really, and I just dumped that right in the glue. Flip over, please. There we go. It will stick. All right, so we got to get the tiny one here. I also have a gem pick coming, so I'm excited about that. We'll see if it works better than using my bent tweezers here. And then the third one I'm going to put down here. So again, the tight triangle works every time. 1, 2, 3. Gorgeous. All right, so that is, this one is from today. This one is the sample that I did. Now the line on this is a little darker, and that's because I stamped it twice. All right, so this is with just 1 layer of the VersaFine Clair, and look at how crisp and clean those lines are. When you start stamping more than once, of course, you're going to get a little bit of a thicker line. But I think they look gorgeous. There you go, and there's your gem placement, the lovely Picket Fence gem mixes. They have such beautiful choices, and these would look, you know, great in a shaker card too. So, all right, and guys, that's it. Just in case you wanted a closer look. One of these days I will know that W means wide, and that means to get bigger. I don't know. And that's that. So this card took me forever to think up, but now that I have it thought up, it's super easy to create. And the great thing about having something like this is now I know, A, that I really like these stamps with the line drawings of the people from Picket Fence. So that means that I will probably get some more. And B, I've got a really great idea for how I can use them in the future. And actually next week's project is kind of a riff on this, because you're going to see the background coming through the face. So we're going to use the stamp set again next week, and I'm going to show you a little bit of a different take on it. Again, using background stamps and some other really cool stuff. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So there we go. What is the press that I mentioned? So the press that I mentioned is called the We Are Memory Keepers Precision Press. And you know what? I'll pull it up here because we have a few minutes. If you have some questions, pop them in the comments, and we'll chat for a few minutes. I want to show you what this looks like. Okay, so let me flip over to here. Okay, so this is the precision press, and as you can see, it's got this one happens to come with 2 plates, and then there's a space at the bottom. So let me show you kind of what we'll go through the pictures and you can see what they look like. All right, so it's a plate that goes across the top, and it's held in by these little pegs here. That's what keeps the alignment in place. And then these little nubbins here, as I call them, are rubber or silicone, and you just press down. So when you put the press down on the grid, it doesn't actually touch the paper until you press down here. All right. So, and that's what the grid looks like where your stamp will go. And as you can see, it's like 6 inches by 6 inches. So it works pretty well for card making. And then these sides over here are open. So if you have a larger piece of cardstock you need to get in there, you can. So I'm going to give it a try. Becca swears by it. So I thought, hey, let me see what this is all about and go from there. So here's a good picture. So you can see how like the card is in here and the stamp is here, and how that kind of works. So it's a magnetic, and you can put magnets on here and all that kind of stuff. So that's the press that I'm referring to. I'm getting it this weekend, and I'm going to give it a try. I also got this pattern block for the press as well to see how that works. And there's a mini one, but I don't see the point in having such a tiny one when you could just have the 6 by 6. They're practically the same size. So, so that's that. All right. You're welcome, Jenny. I'm glad I could help. All right. Yeah, Paula, spending hours to come up with an idea and then 10 minutes to actually make it. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. I haven't been feeling exactly super creative. I think it's probably because I've been focusing a lot on setting up the Bloom community, but I know that creative mojo will come back, and I still come down here every day and try a few little things and then, you know, move on. So it's always good to just see if something happens, and then if it doesn't, be okay with walking away and trying again tomorrow. So that's just sometimes the way creativity flows, right? All right, guys, so as I'm going through here, looks like we got all our questions answered. We had a great time with a fun project. All of the project supplies are down below. I'm so glad you guys joined me today. If you are interested in the Bloom community, make sure that you have signed up to my newsletter, and you will find out more about that starting next week. And I will be back again next week, of course, with another project. So stay tuned for Thursday. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up on the way out. And I hope you all have a wonderfully crafty weekend. I will see you right here next week for more Running with Scissors. Bye, guys.